So, can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's up, Leo?
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Oh, probably wait about another minute. All right. I guess we'll kick this thing off. So welcome everybody to our 14th TAN Council reoccurring meeting. For today's meeting, we will focus on TAN IP1 data and round off with some opening discussion and Q&As. Firstly, however, let's start with an overview of the TAN Council and the purpose of these reoccurring meetings. These reoccurring meetings serve 5 critical functions. They provide transparency to our community. They create a structured forum for proposal discussions, enabling authors to present to the council and community and to discuss, debate, and refine for formal proposal and voting with consensus. They enable regular platform updates. They ensure consistent communication amongst council members. And finally, they allow direct community engagement through question and answer sessions. The TAN Council is a local governance organization within the Telcoin platform. Together, we serve as a provider and administrator of collective goods and services within the jurisdictional domain of the Telcoin application network. The TAN Council, with our 6 members, makes decisions related to the TAN improvements and policies through TAN IP process. We need 5 out of 6 votes to approve proposals within a 120-hour voting period. Our primary duties are to allocate TEL issuance on TAN for stakers and developers to harvest, plan and finance the development of the Telcoin application network. Our key responsibilities include reviewing and voting on snapshot proposals, attending these bi-weekly meetings, providing regular community updates, monitoring TAN systems, enforcing operational rules. We'll use Discord for day-to-day communication and the forum for informal proposal discussions. These reoccurring council meetings for proposal discussions, deliberation, and refinement in snapshot for formal voting. Overall, the TAN Council has authority over minor harvesting and planning and financing TAN infrastructure. Last meeting we had BZ come up and introduce himself as a candidate in the recent liquid delegation, which sought to replace Jeff in the developer seat on the TAN Council. And I am pleased to announce that BZ was voted in by Telcoin, who was the sole developer and the only voter at this time. And so he has submitted his personal details for checking and doing all the, KYC stuff and all that. So we're hoping that BZ officially joins us soon, although I'm pretty sure that he's already got his NFT, which should make it official. But BZ, let us know if you still need access to the email as well as the appropriate channels on Discord.
Yeah, we'll get to that. That comes after the KYM process. But
okay. I know. Did he already get his NFT?
Yeah, the NFT's been transferred, but it could
Okay.
still be revoked based on the outcome of, based on his background. He's been up to some bad things in the past.
Okay. I'm sure BC will be just fine.
I'm sure
All
you're
right.
right.
So we thought it would be interesting to have some in-depth discussion about the data surrounding TAN-IP1 distributions. And so I'm still not even sure how to pronounce your name, Kanop. I'm going to call you Kanop. But he has created a presentation to run us through. So you happy to come up here and present?
Yeah. Can everyone see the screen I'm sharing?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, you can see it. Right. Cool. First of all, I would like to clarify that most of the time I rounded or did not include the decimals to make the calculation easier. And just a last minute thing, I just added Andrew's table at the bottom right of a few pages, so we can maybe live talk about it as well. I decided to highlight the information that seemed notable to me from the last 8 TAN-IP. I could have done more, but the last 8 I think was relevant enough. On each page, at the top right corner, I displayed the gain multiplier in relation to the fees generated by each crew. So in last 7, the score was 1.15, 1.55, then 1.16, then 1.59er, 1.38, 1.35, 1.12, and for the last one, 0.88. So you notice that this win ratio has decreased over the last 5 periods. And for the first time, it has dropped below 1, meaning that for the first time, the rewards are now lower than the fees paid by the users. So now it will be really interesting to see what happens in the next coming weeks.
That's kind of what we wanted and expected, right?
Yeah. Here on Andrew's page, we can see the cumulative missed tail. And since the beginning, there have been 3.6 million in missed rewards. So that's almost 1 week, a bit more than 1 week session. And here, just talked about the multiplier score, gain multiplier. Just below, for each session, you can see the total of undistributed rewards. So, and for this one, it's 170,000 TEL. So, on each page, I highlighted the addresses which did not stake any TEL. So, for the missed TEL. We can see that this amount is ultimately quite variable, but usually generated by about 10 addresses, which are also variable, except for the colored ones that appears regularly. Okay. So as I said, in almost every situation, the lost fees are due to addresses that haven't stacked at all. Moreover, we can observe that it's regularly the same ones. And what's most surprising is that 3 of them generate a large volume thanks to their referees. So I have colored the ones that appears regularly and specify the recurrence over the last 8 periods. So here you can see this one already appears 3 times, 2 times, 1, 2, 2, 2, etc. And we are just at the 3rd page here. Okay. So as I mentioned, I choose to analyze only the last 8 periods. And let's have a look starting from the last 5. Okay. The dark red address here appears here for the first time. This time it has staked and also generated volume through its referees. Okay, but there is a loss of about 80K, so that's a lot, and 70 others missing are for people who did not stack at all. As for the others, all of them have been present since the beginning and persist in not staking at all. Let's now take a look at the second to last period. I mean, maybe I can just confirm here. The red one here, just the week after, appears with 0 stake. So now it's the first time it appears with 0 stake, but is missing a lot of rewards. Then, so now 3 weeks ago, you can see that the blue one appears for the 6th time on 6, 2, 4, 5, etc. So that's a lot, and the red one again until the end. So here we can see that our usual addresses are still present, and you can see the occurrence count. Here it's out of 7 in this second last column. Additionally, here we have 2 linked addresses, referee and referrer, who hadn't stacked enough, but it appears that they were new users. But they will show no losses in the following period. And maybe, perhaps because the volume dropped to 38K in the next session, whereas here they were dealing with more than 200K. And finally, we can look at the latest period, so published last Wednesday. Once again, we can observe the occurrence. So it's out of 8, so meaning half of them have been present for 4 times or more out of 8, so that's a lot. We see our usual addresses again, and some we used to stake. Here you can see the third one and the 5th. I was looking at this address. They were usually stacking, and I don't know why now they unstack everything, so they are losing the rewards. And I will try to check later what is their future behavior. So it will be worth monitoring that. And there are 2 other addresses, the one here showing, and this one. We've got an irregular status. Sometimes they stake, sometimes they unstake, sometimes they generate volume, sometimes they don't. So that's weird. And in the 2 bottom lines, at every pages, I wanted to monitor the 2 people who earn the most each time. So it's the top 2 winners. Here we can see the Andrews graph, where we can see the cumulative missed reward. So we arrived to 3.6 million. And in conclusion of all what I watched and told you, the analysis shows that the same non-staking addresses regularly generate losses, while a few new or fluctuating address impact the volume variability. So really, I don't know how we can do, but I'm a bit concerned about the first 2 addresses, the red one and the blue one, which never unstake, but both generate a lot of referee fees. So it's a big lose for them. And I don't know if Tel Holding is able via the app to ping them, to inform them about the situation. That's it. If you have some more question, if I haven't been clear on some point, or if you want to see some pages.
No, that's great. That's great, Knoppsim. Thank you very much. It was cool to do this analysis on a kind of really on the wallet level. I was kind of thinking of taking like a higher level approach, but this is actually really interesting and hadn't really considered it before. I think you raised some good points about those wallets that are clearly generating fees and have a decent network. Yeah, they're clearly kind of doing what we want them to do, but apart from the last bit of actually being staked. So yeah, it's definitely a shame that they aren't being rewarded for this when they could be. So it kind of suggests we need to get the word out more and make sure people understand how this works. And I guess the opportunity they're missing. So how best to do that, I'm not sure exactly, but it would be great to hear what the community thinks and if they have any suggestions for us and how we can kind of avoid these situations where people have done the work but aren't getting the reward.
Just if I can add something. We were wondering, if the average 10 IP would change anything. In my opinion, and according to the numbers, it did not change anything, in fact, because as you can see on this last period, the 87K missed rewards are only generated by this 18th address, which did not take any tail. The previous week, it was a special week with the 2 address I just mentioned previously. The week before again, the 9 address that didn't stack lose 65K on the 71K. The one before, it's the full amount, 168. The one before, it's 70, so half of the 150, but the 80K missing are from the red address we talked about. The week before, we were missing 340K out of 346K. So we can say that 90, 98, 99% of the time and of the volume is just due to people who just don't stake. And it's not a matter of they are missing the beginning of the stake on Wednesday, Thursday, etc. It doesn't change anything.
That's quite interesting. Yeah. On that, I'm trying to wrap my head around it because if the stake they miss is based on, it was based on their lowest stake during the week.
Yeah, but for the end, there's no problem. But you can see that most of them, it's referee fees. So they are concerned about the Telcoin app, and they used their referee numbers to give it to some friends, etc. So that's quite surprising. They did not stake in order to get a share of the 3.2 million distributed weekly.
I see. Yeah. But at the start, you mentioned that the multiplier you've calculated in the top right
Yeah,
is below 1 for the first time. Can
exactly.
that be as a result of moving from the minimum to the average during the week?
I don't know.
Mm.
It's maybe I can check on the Andrew's page. I will check his graph. Just you can continue chat, and I will. I'm looking at the numbers, and come back to you as soon as possible.
Sure. Yeah. BZ, your formula is a little bit discretized, but it's along the right lines. Yeah. It's what is it? It's the total. It will be like block by block. It's calculated. So where you have stake times days, so stake A times days A, that would actually be stake in block A times, I guess the length of a block, which is fairly consistent. So you'll just be summing stakes at each block and then divide by the number of blocks in the period, however many blocks you get in a week. But yeah, that's basically the idea. So take more for longer, and that will raise your cap. And that doesn't really mean anything unless you actually reach the cap in terms of your trading activity and the trading activity of your network, the people you have referred to the app, essentially. Just to make sure that's all clear for everyone. As Knopasim kind of pointed out, the main people missing rewards are basically people who just haven't staked at all, and they're not aware of the staking system or that kind of thing. So they've given out their referral codes and everything, but they haven't actually staked, which is a bit of a tragedy. As Matthew says, yes, you can lead the horse to water, but it would also be nice to make sure that these people basically benefit from their actions in a maximum way, because these are people with network. These are people who have shared their referral code. So those are the kinds of people we want to be incentivizing to use the app and grow their networks and grow Telcoin, essentially.
Yeah, it's also weird that like it's almost like you just handed the cashier a check and then you didn't take the money. Like, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, essentially. It must be that they're just not aware of it, and I guess it's on us to try and get the word out
Right.
even wider. But yeah, it is definitely like a weird place to kind of end the story.
Yeah, you
That they've given out
do all that
their
effort
code
to.
and
Yeah.
yeah, they've given out their code and without really understanding why they're doing that, which is kind of impressive. But
Yeah. I guess we got some work to
yeah.
do.
Weird. Yeah, it would be interesting to actually look at those wallet transaction histories. Maybe they were from a different time or something, but yeah. I also really liked diagrams that Andrew Pinch put together. So I was thinking of running through those as well. If people are all right or happy with that. And yeah, I'm sure Knopasim could share these.
Yeah,
Knopasim, I've got them here, so I can, if you
yeah, I
stop
put it.
presenting, I can take over.
Yeah, I put in the middle of the screen the one which is interesting. So I just checked. So we have the correct graph here, which aligns with the score. In fact, so we can see that for this last period, we had more the sum of referees fees plus the sum of the staker fees is the second top score since the beginning, and the previous one we need to go back to weeks -9, right before I started the analysis, and for this one the score is 0.86, so lower than the last one, which is 0.88. It's just, as you can see, that we had more referees fees and more staker fees, so less to share, in fact. So the more people used, the less we can share. And it's about here, some of the referees fees we can see on this page from Andrew as well, that the sum of the referees fees and the sum of staker fees are in the top ones, like here. So for the period 6 and period 14, which is same as I was showing just right before.
Awesome, yeah. That's pretty nice to see. Hopefully it stays that way. Yeah, BZ asks, how does this data look if we remove the top 2 wallets that are copy trading? So basically there are 2 wallets that they've referred each other, and they're essentially making the same trades on one and then the other. So they're earning as a staker and a referrer. They're not breaking any rules, but yeah, they've been quite profitable with that lately. I don't know exactly what data, what skew we get. I mean, you'll just be reducing the overall fees essentially. But Knopasim, there was the graph with 2 lines on it that was quite interesting, which shows the proportions of speakers and referrers fees. I think it was on one of your other sheets. Yeah, that's the one.
This one, okay.
So I thought this was quite interesting because you can see the effect of those 2 copy trading wallets quite clearly here. So basically, those 2 copy trading wallets so far have been like the top earners, and they've been causing this tendency towards 50-50, because they each have one referrer, which is the other wallet, basically. So they're kind of showing that the majority of fees are captured by the case where you have one staker who has referred a staker who has referred them back. But in this case, this week for the first time, we have a kind of break in that pattern. So it's now tending away from 50%. So that kind of suggests there's been more activity from people with larger networks, like networks greater than 1, which is promising, which is actually what we want really, because we want the larger networks to be incentivized. So I was quite happy to see that. And to answer your question, BZ, I think if you remove the two self-referential wallets, you'd just see like a lowering of total rewards on the other charts, but I think you'd see a big difference in this one. And yeah, I think this was quite a cool visualization. Basically, you see the effect that those two wallets are having, but hopefully we'll see a continued kind of tendency to get high percentage of referee fees, which will basically show that the self-referential solution isn't actually valuable long term, and it will be kind of drowned out by users with larger networks and large active networks, which is what we're really trying to incentivize. But yeah, I think that's pretty promising, and it would be cool to check in on this kind of periodically, you know, in a few weeks' time for the next one, and do it in a similar way. Does the community have any questions and or any points of discussion, or do they have any questions about anything else even? You can also move on if they'd like. And thank you, Complisim. That was really cool and very interesting. I liked your approach, and it was cool to kind of break down the wallets one by one, and I think we got some interesting conclusions there and things to consider moving forward. Yeah, thank you. Any questions from anyone else? Yeah, TGC I'm in touch with, and basically we're helping them with their application to council, which because they'll need to be kind of voted in. So there will be a TAN IP eventually to get them in, but we're just kind of helping them with the application, and a lot of that is kind of helping ourselves with what kind of stuff we need to provide these companies to ease their onboarding, and what kind of questions do we need to ask, basically, that will mean they have a good application, and it will kind of streamline the process for future. So I've just realized you've asked about GSMA and not us. So GSMA, they've got everything ready, and they expect no pushback, but I don't think they have actually applied yet. I think they're kind of sorting out some internal stuff, and also our stuff I just mentioned before they do, but should be soon, and should all go smoothly, basically. Any more?
Anybody got any other questions? BZ, do you have anything to say? Congratulations again.
BZ's on a plane. He's
Oh, is
he's
he?
committed.
Nice.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, you guys have a lot of you guys get a lot of Wi-Fi on your planes. It's like unheard of in Europe. But that's pretty cool. BZ's still pulling the strings from like 30,000 feet.
I feel like every time I get on a plane, I never have Wi-Fi. I just got to a bachelor party too, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to make this.
Yeah. Maybe you're on the wrong planes. I don't know where he's off to, but
I don't know. He's on that first class.
Yeah. He's fully reclined now. Yeah, he's trying to get to sleep. Keeping him up. Good, you're a nerd, BZ. We'll be hearing from you about the data soon enough, I'm sure. Nice. Cool, cool. Lovely stuff. Yeah, guess we can call it a day there.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody.
Thank you very much for taking the lead, Liberty Lad. I think you did a great job. Maybe more of that in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
The prize for
well,
winning the pie eating contest.
all right, we'll see. I'm sure we'll see most of you guys on the next platform and Telex council meetings, but until then, we'll see you at the next TAN council.
Lovely stuff. Thank you very much.
All right, everybody, enjoy.